don't have hours.
Pass me a rum and take a seat.
Yeah, get me a beer.
You need a beer upstairs?
Stat.
Do you want a rum? Because I'm
Alright.
very thin and have a very fast metabolism, and I'm already feeling pretty fucked out.
I wouldn't know about that, eh? I'm super buff and fat as fuck. But so, cheers, Angus.
Cheers, brother.
I'll put that down.
Boy. I don't know your name. I'm so sorry.
Elmo.
Elmo. You're Elmo. You're the. Hold on. Stand up. Stand up.
Give me one of these.
Oh. You what? You motherfucker, Connor. You lied to me. You told me he was like a foot above me.
You reckon?
Not much.
Nah.
What's in it?
Half
Oh.
a foot. Hang on a minute.
Oh.
Is that a foot?
That's where the extra foot went.
This just got fucking good.
Good content. Good content. You want a swig?
I'm
Nice chaser.
just wondering. Yeah, I might actually in a bit.
Yeah.
We'll get started.
Connor was like, "Oh, you haven't touched this yet." I'm like, "Fuck it, give me some. Just
I haven't had Jaeger in so long.
take it. Just
It was
do
like
it."
so 90s, but actually it wasn't even 90s. It was like so 2000s. Ah, yeah, I remember that. Damn, you killed me more than once, you son of a bitch. Remember
So-
you well.
Yep. Same mic sort of presenting. Always
Do
aim
the thing.
towards it. Don't try and twist it. It creates noise in the arm and stuff.
Just
But
do
yeah,
my
just-
whole.
I'm gonna have to edit that. If you've got such a low rumbly voice, I'm definitely gonna have to cut some low end out.
Yeah, no, I'll just.
No, it's
I'll
all
keep
good.
it up high. It's all good.
It's all good. Hi, I'm Angus here with another one of the players from Elite1's Rush Tournament Series days. This is Elmo. Say hi for the podcast.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty goddamn good. Yourself?
Yeah, awesome. Good
Had
to be
a fun
here.
day out there?
Oh, how could you not have fun playing paintball?
That is
So-
very much the way. Now, with last interviewer, I've definitely covered sort of the opening and sort of the familial aspects, and I'd like to get into a bit more of a professional aim towards it. You are playing in semi-pro or pro?
In pro, yeah.
You are playing in pro. That is,
Been
I want a
almost-
high five.
Almost
Goddamn.
20 years in pro.
20 years. So you've got a lot of experience. You know all the little tips and tricks. You can walk out on. I had a weekend pre-practice. You weren't there, I remember.
Yeah, yeah.
And you've just come out today as an absolute fighting force on the field. You were able to just keep everyone in check, no matter which team it was. What do you think is the difference in that regard? What are the little things that you can pick out?
It's a lot of time, I guess a lot of time training. One of the things that our team brings to the field really is, and you've touched on this so much with the other guys, is family. So I heard earlier talking about communication and stuff like that. Like, we not only communicate really well, but to the point where, like, when I'm on the field with my team, we are brothers, and we're closer than some of my family. And 90% of the time now, I know, like, we don't ever make a game plan or anything like that, but I know, you just play it as it lays, but I know what the person behind me is doing without looking or talking to them. So basically our comms are nearly reduced to just calling where the other players are, and maybe every now and then where we want somebody to shoot or put somebody in, and just little, like, paintball's one of them things that's so quick, so fast, a little bit of adrenaline, so the human brain's easy to complicate things. And when you bring it back to that, and I guess throw in a pun here, when you bring it back to that raw environment that's just shoot somebody at the other side of the field and outthink them, then it makes it really easy. So, you know, there was 2 points just today where I was actually playing my son, and Shagger, the guy behind me, saw me running towards his barricade, and I was about to bunker him, and basically Shagger nearly stood out in the open, and he's my back player, and he stood out in the open and basically became a target for 5 seconds. And that draws the eye and it draws the gun over there, and then that allows me to just walk around and shoot the guy behind the barricade. Now, not everybody will fall for that, but it's them little things, having the calmness and the experience to be able to do that. At the same time, not like out here we're yelling a little bit. We're all we haven't played for 6 months. So, yeah, unfortunately we're not playing our best paintball, but when we play really good, solid paintball, we're really quiet, and not in the way of we're not communicating. We're actually talking to each other. And there's been like some of the best points I played last year at Sevens were points where the commentators are like, wow, their communication's non-existent at the moment. And I look back at them videos and I'm like, what do you mean the communication's non-existent? You look at me and I'm looking across the field at Shagger and pointing, like getting his attention. I can't do it on the mic, we're not on video, but I'm getting his attention and pointing down the field at, okay, you've got one in front of you, and we're talking. And no one else, literally 5 meters off the field, can hear us, but we can hear each other. And that's the other thing, you get to recognise that voice of who's behind you. Me and Pete playing together, I think now we're nearly on 8 or 9 years playing together, so you become family. And yeah, it really is a game of communication, and I guess brotherhood. So yeah, one of the biggest turning points for me, just to put into emphasis, back when I'd first started and I was at about your experience level, we played a tournament and we were in semi-pro, or we just started playing pro, and my little brother was playing in front of me, and at the time we weren't getting on the best. We were there was a bit of a rift between us, but there was a guy in front of him and he ran down the field to mug him, and I came out and shot the guy back behind his barricade, and something in my head sort of just clicked, and to myself I said, you're not shooting my brother. If anyone's going to shoot my brother, it'll be me. And I thought, as I walked off the field, like I held that guy back and I didn't allow him to bunker my brother. And I thought that was a pretty good concept to use. So continue that. And that became, you're not shooting my brother, I'll be doing that. Like to, no way am I going to let you shoot my brother. And then it got to a point where anybody that played in front of me or anyone that played on a team with me is pretty much instantly my brother. And I take that seriously. And like you said earlier, with the Wicked Assassin guys helping you out, and they're another team that I help and have played with and have had them come and play with us. And Wade and Bill and all them guys are just awesome guys. Now, the reason that I see people like that and single them out is because they have the same mindset and they are family within themselves, as well as more than happy to help out everybody around them. So, and yeah, finding them like-minded people, finding people that are way better than you are, and going and playing them, and never just backing down and saying that guy's way better than me and I can't do that. So I think, I stopped paintball about 8 years ago. I gave up paintball for roughly 4 years while I had children, and I was working in a job that I'm actually back at that job now, but I was working in a job and I looked at the boss and I said, I quit. I've had enough. I've got to go and do something for myself. And he said, oh yeah, and what's that? And I said, I'm going to play paintball again. And he's like, that's not going to make you any money. And I said, at the moment, I don't care about money. I'm going to do that. And I said, mark my words, in 5 years, I'll be playing the World Cup for Australia. And he's like, yeah, whatever. Like, it meant nothing to him. But that was, man, I was like, I'm going to do this. And it was like 2.5 years later, I rang him up from Asia and said, "Hey, I'm over here playing, World Cup Asia. Just thought I'd let you know, like doing well, and and we're still really good friends. So it's not like I just rang him out of the blue. We're really good friends.
Trying to rub it in.
Just trying to rub it in a little bit, and and they're paying for a lot of my stuff. And then it was 2 years after that, I'm ringing up from America, going, I'm here at the World Cup, playing World Cup for Australia, and my whole trip's just been paid for pretty much by winning a tournament. And he's like, mate, so proud of you, good on you, like, go and get them. And I love the support, but at the same time, I think anyone's capable of that. You've just got to stop and say, this is what I want to do, put your heart and soul into it, and you'll be there no matter what you want to do. So I was taught that from a young age. It's just really hard with life and children and work and all that to, get that metaphor and turn it into reality. But it is possible and you can do it. So.
Oh, 100%. Like, I'm barely starting out. I know this is something that I want to do for a large portion of my life, because this is frankly amazing. It's this family, this rush. It's so what a pun.
Yeah.
We're at the Rush tournament.
Yeah.
I say Rush. You play for Raw, you used Raw earlier. No
Yeah.
one knows the context
We
for
can
that
go
pun
again.
earlier. But yeah, and I feel I'm really lucky that I have that Monday to Friday, no weekend sort of job. And not many people get that sort of thing where they can have the weekends off. And that really would kill a lot of the sort of ability to play, because it's really a weekend sort of sport. People don't get out during the weekdays. It's not something that manages to happen all that
The
often.
hardest part is not many people have a paintball field right next door. Like growing up, I was really lucky. Roughly 5 minutes from my house, I have our local paintball field in the Blue Mountains. So it's something that I saw on TV once, and like this is showing my age now, but I started playing in 1998, and back then you had to be 18 to play. So I was actually 19 when I started playing in 98. I saw an ad on TV when I was younger and just thought, wow, paintball, this is so cool. Like we grew up playing armies and stuff in the bush, and I thought this is just next level, like at one stage we used to go out to my mate's property and shoot each other with slug guns. And
Jesus Christ,
it
man.
hurt a little bit more, but like, I remember digging slugs out of friends' leg and my own leg once, but when you're dodging slug guns, you're slightly a little bit more aware, and at the same time, you don't want to actually hit anybody in a dangerous spot, and we had goggles and thick jackets and stuff on, but it still didn't make too much of a difference when you're up close. But then when I found paintball, I was like, wow, this is amazing, like so much fun. And coming from me, I started, so I was always into dirt bikes, and I got out of that and got into downhill mountain bike racing, and went pretty good at that. I've always, I've done rally driving and a lot of rock climbing. I used to do a fair bit of rock climbing back in the day. And pretty much as soon as I started paintball, 90% of them sports went out the window. I remember, like, just recently with COVID and all that sort of thing, I've just recently bought a dirt bike again, and I got back on this dirt bike and I was like, oh my God, I don't have any skill on this thing at all. And my mate's like, you used to be really good on a dirt bike, like, you used to race and stuff. And I'm like, mate, like, I haven't ridden one in 15 years. And he's like, what the hell? Like, has it been that long? And I'm like, yeah, it has. Like, count back. And he's like, my God, you're right. And then I'm like, it's paintball. Like, it's always been paintball, and I've never got that extended rush, to use a pun again, out of any other sport. Like rock climbing, you get a really big rush while you're climbing up. You get to the top, and it's amazing satisfaction. But bikes and stuff, it's like it's pretty mundane until you hit a couple of big jumps that you sort of haven't ever hit before, and you get a rush out of doing them big jumps for the first or second time. Once you've done them a few times, it's kind of just the norm again. But when you take the paintball field, nearly every single game is a rush. And when it's not, you walk on the field, like even against the amateur teams and stuff today, like I walk on the field and I'm calm and comfortable as, it's 20 years of playing. I'm like, it's just another day. But as soon as that first decent shot sings past your head, you're like, here we go. We're back again. So it's kind of just, it's just a constant adrenaline rush. And I haven't experienced a sport like it. So
I 100% agree. And when we were versing you guys, you're playing with Pete, right? Yeah. We were facing you guys, and from the beginning, it was a shit show on our end. But you never walked off the field without some sort of encouragement to say to us. Like, someone from your team was always like, listen, you got to do this, you got to do that. And you never let us kind of lose our sense of purpose. Like, because there was a couple of guys on our team, I will admit, that just really lost it once those first 2 drops came in. Once we lost those first 2 points, it was just very disheartening. But never once did you guys let us get disheartened. You were immediately like, all right, I know it looks bad, but you got to do this, you got to do that. And that's something I find different between paintball and a lot of other sports. The pro players, and I was going to say you, but generally the pro players across the board.
And 100%, like, one thing I've got to make absolutely clear right now, we're not all like this. And I could name 200 pro players that are just absolute, and they're good people, but I'm going to use this word, they're absolute dicks. And when it comes, like, I've seen a pro player, no names or anything, but like I've seen a pro player basically run down the field and put like 15 shots into the side of a person, and it was a female that had played like 2 games in her life, and he was like, she wants to take my field, she gets what I dish out. And I'm like, oh my God, like that, why would you even be like that?
Absolute dick.
And
that's forcing people away from the sport. And
Exactly.
considering we're already such a sort of
But
niche.
some teams actually want to force new people away from the sport so they can stay on top. Do you know what I mean? And it's that.
I do. I
it's
really
not
do.
forcing them away. It's showing them that we're dominant. And if you ever take the field with us, we will dominate no matter who you are. And I've played on teams like that, and I get the mentality of they're just like so competitive, and this is the excuse I make, that they're just so competitive that it doesn't matter who takes the other side of the field, they're going to play the same no matter what, and they're going to own people. But for myself, and especially at this tournament, one thing that I really love about this tournament is everybody helps each other, and us pro players like me, and especially me and Pete and everyone on our team, if we're playing a team that's not so great or doesn't have the skills that we have, and 90% of the time I use that very lightly because they don't have the skills that we have yet.
Yeah, the difference between pro and AMs is just a matter
Massive.
of stability and walking, the
Yeah.
ability to do those calls, the big shouts.
And a lot of it can only come with time. So
Exactly.
why run down the field and smash everybody off the field and say, haha, we won? Much better to give them game time and let them play that out. And you probably saw when we played Void and stuff earlier, and same with you guys. There was one point actually where we played Void and I stopped our whole team at the 50-yard line, at the 50-metre line, and went, nobody goes any further. We stop here and we play them from here. And, the amount of times where I've seen somebody's back hang out and I'm like, okay, we're playing a novice team here or an amateur team. Now, if I just shoot that guy in his back because he's not looking and he's hanging out of his barricade a bit too far because he's concentrating on the guy on the other side of the field, he's going to get shot in the back and he's going to be like, okay, I sort of learnt my lesson. But if I put a couple past him, he's going to hear them paintballs, and he's, and there's been times where I've waved at people and going, hey, pull your back in. And they're like, oh, shit, like, and instantly hug the barricade. And then they get to play on a little bit longer as well. They've learnt their lesson, and and
And it's a happy moment instead of a
yeah,
fuck I'm
and they
out.
get a second chance, and for me, it's not about winning. Like, I love to win, and winning makes it, winning doesn't make it fun. For me, playing paintball and getting to hang out with the family and, and just to be able to take the field and play is fun. Now, don't let that get confused with when we take the field with a pro team and we're overseas or something. We're
You
out
will
to get
try
blood.
as hard as you can.
Yeah,
Those
so
markers are flying to pull strips off those people, and if they
Pretty
are
much.
not, they are forcing them into cover.
Yeah, and see, the other thing too is I think one thing that the best thing that our team does, you'll see teams when you go to the bigger tournaments like Super Sevens or overseas and stuff, you'll see teams that get a lousy point and they'll lose a point. Now, they'll walk off the field and they're yelling and kicking stuff and yelling at their own teammates saying, why didn't you do your job? Or what were you doing? How come you got shot? And blah. You'll never see that from our team. And no matter what happens, we'll walk off the field and we're calm, we're collected. And when we walk into the pits, whereas like sometimes we raise our voices because we're puffed, but other than that, it's okay, what happened? Like, we never, one of the main rules on the team, and it's not even a rule that we made up, it's an unspoken law, is no matter how you got shot or how you died or what somebody did wrong, you never, ever blame somebody else for the game being lost. We're a team and we lost that point together as a team. And so the reasoning behind that as well is if somebody's done something wrong and they've been shot because they've done something wrong, they know better than anybody what they did wrong because they're the person that did that wrong. So, they don't need the pressure of everybody else on the team pointing it out and saying, like, oh, you stuffed up and you just cost us a game. Like, no, we all took the field as a team, and win or loss, we all left the field as a team, and we are one while we're on that field. So whatever team you play with and wherever you go in the sport, that's a really good mentality to have as you go.
Dragging it back to my end of stuff, especially with our team, we're versing Sydney SWAT. For those uninitiated, is the Australian top of the line overseas
One of the best
team,
teams in Australia,
the
yeah.
best, one of the best, sponsored by all the big boys. Viewer chiming in,
Well,
Eastside
yeah.
Raw's better. Why don't you come over here and blow him?
Well,
Oh, he's walking over. Shit. I didn't see this coming.
SWAT's done a lot more training, a lot more overseas stuff. I think we've done more overseas stuff. In the early days, SWAT did a lot of overseas tournaments, and then basically now they've ramped it back a little bit. So there is a big pressure traveling overseas that not only when you get there, you're not just playing, and especially in some of the bigger world events, you're not just playing the teams, you're playing the local teams. So you're an outsider. And sometimes, and a lot of the times, the referees are really good friends with the local teams. So you're on the back foot already. And SWAT's one of the greatest teams in Australia. They probably hold more wins collectively than any other team in Australia. And, it's kind of just, they've been around for, I guess, as long as I've been playing. So I mean, props to them. They've stuck with it for so long, and they've won probably more tournaments in Australia than we could hope to. Same time, like, we always give them a good run for their money, and and we've won big tournaments that they've never won as well. So, and I think really that's what one of the best things that I love about paintball is it doesn't matter how big you are. Like, so we're the team that like doesn't really plan and or we train sometimes, but we don't train together. We just go and hang out as mates, and we like to play paintball, and we have a passion for it. SWAT's a machine, and this is how it's done. This is your job. You get your job, and if you don't do that job, bang, you're out, and somebody else is in. And while they're still a family, and they still run a pretty tight ship like that, it really is, you're there to win, and not there to have like fun. Fun is winning, and if you're not winning, it's not fun. So, um, like it's one of them things. I'm not like that, and yeah, I like to do it our way. But at the same time, yeah, like we've won big tournaments as well. Like without having to be that well-oiled machine. And with paintball, I think one of the best things that I like about it, getting back to what I was saying, is you can be a female, you can be a male, you can be a big guy or a short guy, you can be a muscly character, or you can be, weak as me. You can, you don't
Yeah,
have
we've
to
got
be
that
fast.
same sort of build,
Yeah, yeah.
that thin wiring, and
And
it helps us be
my
that quick.
actual joke for many years, like, because people, I'm slowing down a bit now, but people were like, "Man, we just can't hit you. Like, you run through ropes of paint." And I'm like, "But if I stand sideways, it's like trying to hit a star picket at 50 meters. Like, you can't hit that. So, not while it's moving. So, yeah, and it doesn't matter. Everybody has a gun, and the worst player on the field with the least experience can shoot the best player on the field with the most experience.
Oh, 100%.
And that's one of the reasons why as soon as I get shot by anybody, doesn't matter if they're, been around 100 years or they've been around 5 minutes, I'm the first person to walk up. And if you've shot me and I'm like, that was a bit lucky, I'm like, awesome shot, dude. But if I've played somebody and had a little gunfight and they've out-battled me, or they've just outsmarted me, or they've taken that extra direction and I'm like surprised by it, then I'm the first person to walk up and go, "Mate, well done. You did this. You outsmarted me. You outplayed me, and props to you." And in my head, I'm thinking, "Wow, I'm got to get back and get this guy for the next one." So, and that goes back to, like I said, I think no matter what you do, whether it's motorbikes, push bikes, or any sport you take on, could be basketball, the better the people that you surround yourself with and play against and don't have fear, the better you'll become.
I agree completely. Dinner's ready, so
We'll
crack onto that. It's been amazing having you here. Thank you so
No,
much.
Thanks, Angus. Great.
This will be posted somewhere, I suppose. Is there anywhere you'd like to be followed, I suppose? Your Instagram or something?
Yeah, so I don't have Insta because I'm sort of old school like that. But yeah, Facebook, Elmo Sheehan on Facebook. You can also follow my company, which is 33 Degree Clothing on Facebook. So I do all paintball gear and stuff like that when I get time, because it's more of a hobby than a business. And yeah, just follow Elite1 Paintball. You can also follow Eastside Raw or Raw Empire on Facebook as well.
Awesome. Once again, I've been Angus. This has been Elmo. You can reach me at Nachos Justice on Instagram or at Disarray on Facebook. It's been amazing having you here. Thank you so much once again for the amazing insight you've provided into the sport, into the nature of how this field has gone, and how the mindset of someone a lot higher level than I am is.